it's funny because I never know where to start with my story because my story comes from the time that I was born. And so I'm actually going to share all the way back then. Um, when I was born, I had stomach issues. You can ask my mom. Obviously, I don't remember this day, but my mom will tell you that I couldn't eat anything. I couldn't have any. She tried all the different kinds of milks. I had serious stomach issues, and those stomach issues went with me through my whole life. We'd done all sorts of doctor's appointments and all sorts of things, and it was never something that we could figure out. So at 34 years old, 33, I should say, I had just accepted the fact that this is my life and it was okay. Like I was totally fine with it. I kind of stopped looking for solutions, but I had found this industry back in 2017, and I had done a few things here and there and came in and let go and found products that ended up hurting me and found it was just all the things. So in, let's see, what month was it? August of 2024, I set out to find a company that would be good for me. And I wasn't really dedicated to being, I wasn't really necessarily set on finding a company. It was like, if I find the right one, I will be excited about it, but I'm looking for specific things. And I run my business personally on social media. So I put that out there. I was like, I'm looking for a new company to join. Um, and I have a list of things that I want, and I'm not accepting anything but this. And it was a big list of things. The very first thing on my list was that the product had to be holistic and clean. I wanted it to be something I could give my children and not feel bad about because, like Allison said, I care about everybody. And if I can give it to my children, I know it won't harm anyone. So that was the very first thing I put on the list. And very quickly, that eliminates almost everything. So it took me from August until the very end of January to find what I found. And I had vetted, I mean, you guys have to know that when you're publicly looking for something for months on end, people send you free product. And I would look at the product ingredients and I would throw them away. I would throw the product away. Or I would look at the product, say, okay, this might be okay. And then I would find little things within the company that didn't align with exactly what I was looking for. And I was very specific. And like I said, I was okay if I didn't find it. I just know how powerful this industry is. And so it would have been nice to find. And it's funny, it was definitely a God thing. Allison could share, testify to the fact that how I came into this company was very crazy. But it started with the comp plan. A person messaged me and said, "Hey, will you tell me if this comp plan seems legit? Do you think this is real?" And I looked at it and I said, "That looks amazing." But I had never heard of the company before. I said, "What is this company?" And the person says, "Well, I'm talking to this herbalist about it. I don't really know what the product is." And so I'm like, "Well, if she's an herbalist, I need more information because I've never heard of this and I thought I'd heard of everything." And so I chatted with Allison. Allison told me what the product was, and I read that it would melt visceral fat, and I didn't need to have any fat melted off of my body. I was really kind of uninterested in that. But Allison shared a whole bunch of verbiage that I didn't understand. She was talking about the vagus nerve. You know, something really funny, Terry, I wanted to share this with you if you're on here. Um, when I was first talking and learning about this product, you were saying vagal nerve, and I first talked to my husband about it. I said something about a bagel nerve. Like that's how completely clueless I was to the vagus nerve. I was just like, I don't know what it is, but I align with everything that this company has to offer, so I'm ordering the product and I'll see what it does for me. And I hope it's going to do something for me. I genuinely had no idea. So I get the product, and my husband was out of town. I got the product on a Saturday. My husband was out of state, and it was just me, and I have 5 kids. So I'm naturally, my life is chaos, if you can imagine. When you have 5 kids, there's a lot of chaos. And I got him at about 3 o'clock. I'm a huge skeptic. So initially, the very first thing I did, because Allison told me it was odorless and flavorless, I opened it and I smelled it because I'm like, I'm challenging everything. And I was like, aha, I smell something. Like, I was like, it smells, I smell a little bit of something. And then I put it in water because I wanted to test the fact that it was flavorless and I couldn't taste anything in my water. And I was like, okay, this is amazing. So again, I had no idea what was going to happen. And I'm very skeptical by nature. And I am a huge believer, and I know that it is a fact that we can placebo anything. So I took them and I was expecting to feel better due to placebo. So I took them. I did notice, like, I felt the way that my husband and I describe it is like we put on, like, someone turned the lights on. Like, it was everything. I was more awake. I felt really great. The kids weren't on my nerves like they normally are. But what was really crazy, and this is my story, is 20 minutes after I took the drops, I pooped. Now, back to that stomach issue I was talking about. My stomach issues come from a place where I wouldn't poop, but twice a month on average. And so I spent a lot of my life as a mom, in pain and irritable because when you are in that type of pain, you're very irritable. And that same April, I posted about this. I almost missed my daughter's um, dance recital. And it was really emotional for me because I remember I was crying on the couch because it had been a long time and I was in so much pain and I couldn't stand up straight because that hurt. I had to always be hunched over and time was getting closer and time was getting closer and time was getting closer and it wasn't feeling better. And she's like, "It's okay, Mama. Like I know you're hurting. You can just stay home." And I lost it. Like, I don't want this to be okay. This wasn't what I wanted to be okay, but I hadn't found anything different. And so when I took the drops and I pooped after 20 minutes, some of you guys might be like, woohoo, big deal. But to me, I wasn't expecting to poop yet. So I texted my husband and I was like, Chris, I pooped. I'm so excited. And gosh, I'm taking too long already. Um, but he was like, do you think it had anything to do with that stuff you tried? And I was like, no, but that would be cool. I don't think so, though. I think it was just some weird coincidence. That night I slept really amazing, by the way. Next day I took them. 20 minutes later, I pooped again. I texted him. He said, "You need to talk to the herbalist lady and find out if this has anything to do with that." And I was like, this is wild. I mean, like, him and I are having a text conversation about my poop. This is my real life. And he's like, "This is awesome, babe. If it has anything to do with that, like, you need to find out." And still I was like, I don't know. That night I'd pooped again. So I took Fix 2 times that day and I pooped every single time. By the way, I share this every time. It wasn't like an unhealthy poop. This was like a healthy girl poop. Like a big girl, like I'm a big kid now. Normal poop. I was so proud of myself, you guys. It's ridiculous. But so I text him and he's like, "You've got to text her." And so I texted her and I said, "Hey, Allison, do you think that this helps people poop?" And she said, "Well, yeah, it definitely does if you have stomach issues." And she goes back into all of that verbiage and how, if my body has been in fight or flight for my whole life and I'm finally able to take myself to a place where I'm in rest and digest, like she was talking about, for the first time in my life, and by the way, I have a traumatic upbringing, my body was able to rest and digest. And so I've been here now, gosh, since I took my first day, I think it was the 30th of January. Um, I launched my business at the beginning of February, and we have changed so many lives with this poop story. I can't even begin to tell you. Thank you, Allison, for sharing this product with me. It's changed my life and my family's life and thousands of lives.
Absolutely.